Welcome back to the Passing Show on Harrowings Live with Hal Gill, your host. Looking at the little rosebud coming up out of a climbing rose. It's been growing here just outside my dining room window for years. It's got one last rose about to bloom. Might actually put out another later. Got it deadheaded for a couple others. But yeah, overall, it's done really well this year. Had more blooms than ever before. Found that particularly appropriate. My father on this side of the veil, the Hal Gill Foundation, LLC, has been founded on September of last year to honor his memory and preserve his legacy, part of which is me. So the passing show goes on. Our crepe myrtle is in full bloom here at the bunker. The bunker is down in the back of this little gated community I have here, literally. Stepping out onto the street. Just so lucky. Little free library of provided by the Romanians of D.C. It's out here. The irony of American history. I hope that's still there when I get back. Maybe I'll just take it with me. Something to read. Yeah, there's always something good. The Irony of American History by Reinhold Niebuhr. Should be good. The position of America in the world's community in the light of her history is the title at the top of that. Okay. Yeah, it's Charles Scribner and Sons, New York. Let's see. That was a one-time $20. It's free now. And it is in my hands. We may be talking more about that with David A. Endelman at 10 today. So tune into Herring's podcast if you can. It'll also be out there on YouTube and all the different platforms. This is copyright 1952. 1952. Let's go back there if we can in our minds. And we're going to take a little walk down to the market, I think, as it's setting up. And then we'll come back up to office hours at Emissary Pergamino, where I will find a spot. I'm finding it very easy to find a spot fairly early in the morning, which is not always the case later in the day. But yeah, I'm trying to keep that place in business. Every cent we spend is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating. So flashing back to 1952, I was 11 years from my advent on the scene, February 4th of 63. So it was 7 years past the end of World War II, and we were embroiled in Korea, fighting communist China. I don't know if the Chinese had counterattacked yet, but they would. They come back over the Yalu River in numbers, forcing us back down to the 38th parallel or so, and there's a lot of warfare going on there. Who's the 37th? I can't remember. I have to do my Korean War history later. Well, we weren't going to be out of there. And in fact, we're still not. I was just down at the White House night before last, taking in the passing show. And we had protesters out there with announcing a lot about the impact of American interests in Korea and how our policies are, continuing a situation that's really detrimental. You could say what you want about Kim Jong-un and his family and what they've done in the North. And you can say what you want about just about anything that other people are doing. But I believe that one of the most important principles we can exercise is to look at our part in it, not as a country, but as individuals. What have we done to try to be, agents of change in a positive way? What actions have we taken to steer the ship of society in directions that are constructive and not destructive to the lives of others. The lives of others brings me back to a another German. I guess Reinhold Niebuhr was also German extraction. I don't know much about him, to tell you the truth. I really should know more than I do. Here we go. He's a serious student of political affairs, as well as one of the most vigorous and brilliant theologians and philosophers writing today. His far-sighted sense of historical events is shown especially in such works as The Irony of American History, Faith in History, The Nature and Destiny of Man. That's kind of like up Harrowing's alley, because the nature and destiny of us, of as human beings, as a species, is something that I've been mulling over for most of my life at some level or another. And I think we all ought to. It appears to me, based on my observations, that we are perhaps a slave race to small dogs. But oh my gosh, crows. Um, hmm, it appears to me that our destiny as a species is to take our technology, such as it is, and steward it in ways in which it can supplant us and solve for us, with our help, with our participation, hopefully, the issues we've created. I mean, you walk along here, you can see that we have followed the path of least resistance in many cases to solving certain problems. And other times we've done things that are much more elaborate than necessary. We've got logistics at orders here setting up. They'll be putting out some great baked goods. Look at that. Tray after tray of marvelous baked goods. And there's the abundance of peaches. Oh, yeah. Plums, tomatoes, corn, cucumbers, squashes of various sorts. A lift. Yep. And what else we got? Little bags. Yes, 6 exact brew. Like the flowers and more baked goods. So our destiny as a species, well, it's probably to continue to eat, apparently. And there's an abundance of fruit here, of which we might avail ourselves. Really, look at those peaches. Yellow and white ones. Have as well. Tons of apples. Again, plums and pears. Lots of beautiful peppers. And tomatoes and corn and onions and you name it. We've got it. So if you're with us for the first time on Harrowing's passing show, this is just raw journalism. Who, what, when, and where? Who, what, when, and where? Washington, D.C. We're on our way. Our emissary Pergamino. Ooh, I think I have to have toothpick. Take a little sample. All right. These words are maybe back for this later. Napoleon's Peak. It's amazing. Thank you. I'm not British, but it's goat cheese. Award-winning goat cheese. And look at this. Just look at this. Eggplants, peppers, Lots of peppers. Oh my gosh. Luscious. I'd be back down here later. Depends on whether my wife decides that I'll come back down here, maybe right after the 10 to 10:30 window, and we're getting together with David A. Andelman of Andelman Unleashed and the Red Lines Project, I believe. Learning more about that as we go. Lucky to have journalists of his caliber out there in the world. I may not agree with his assessment of everything or his way of presenting always, but I am open-minded. I might learn something. That's the thing, right? There's a tune by David Gans that's written in with Robert Hunter. Oh, shut up and listen. Why don't you shut up and listen a minute or two? Yeah, I'm talking to you. So I keep talking, see if y'all are saying anything. Did a little writing this morning, a little article. I was particularly focused on Jay Howlett, who passed away a couple of days ago, cancer. A little bit younger than me, Jay was. I've had a few more spins around the sun than he'll ever get. But he used his well. He was a historic trades and skills employee at Colonial Williamsburg, a master of artificing, making leather breeches and carrying on those trades. And God bless him. He struggled, of course, as we all do in life in many ways, but he helped so many people while also preserving and protecting the trade of leatherworking. Even after the harness makers were disbanded, he survived, continued working. Probably suffered from, somebody observed, from survivor's guilt, but we should definitely just be really joyous for everyone that we have had in our life. And when they go, what time and tide does things to us.
I came back. I went down to Southwest. I came back with a big ass tray of grilled chicken, barbecue chicken, and all that. That's all song.
Mission to CIA in the 21st century. I've picked up that book yesterday, but didn't get a chance to read it because Lynn was done before I could crack into it. I was absorbing the Atlantic and Harper's and the Economist and New Yorker best I could. Folks at the DuPont Circle Collective there. What time is it? Well, I think I'm safe enough to walk up Connecticut versus 19th. Slim down a lot. Got to work on slimming down myself. Let's see. What else was on my mind? Come and go. Jay, Colonial Williamsburg. I gave a donation in Jay's memory. And I put in a note that I wanted to go to historic trades. I don't know if it will be limited to that. I noticed their funding opportunities don't really focus on historic trades preservation specifically, but I do want historic trades and skills to receive. But I have a point of contact, the foundation, as I'm a member of the governor's circle for the moment, through next April. And now I'm doing what I can with what I have. They have their annual gathering on the 20th, which is my dear wife's birthday, and also the Baygrass Festival. I hope to be taking in performances by Holly Bowling and artists at large at the Baygrass Festival this year in Annapolis, Maryland. Got a lot of irons in the fire. A lot of things to think about. A lot of things, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous. And the old dude's noggin. Been talking to the bathrobe guy about fractal entanglement mass theory lately. and talking to Kay Stoner about her adventures in the world of artificial intelligence. And I'm trying to amplify their signals through the noise of cyberspace. I get a little cadre of different voices I want to hear and I want others to hear. And if you want my voice to be heard, it's quite simple. Restack, put it out there in one way or the other. Recommend. I just recommended Anvilman Unleashed as a Substack to be heard. David's 80 years old now, and I was thinking about that. I'm going to be at the Who, where another 80-year-old will be performing it right in front of me for a couple hours, or nearly a couple hours. I don't know if there's going to be an opening act or not. I think there is. I forget who it is. But, can you imagine opening for the Who? It's hard to upstage them, that's for sure. Even now, Roger 81 and Pete 82. I guess Roger's 80 also right now. They're both in their 80s, just over the 80-year mark. Actually, I think Roger's 81. I think he's like May 44 or thereabout. Pete died just 10 days after Hitler's defeat, Germany's surrender. Something to think about. Ongoing, growing up in post-war Britain, when everybody was sort of aware that in a flash, you'd just be gone. That's still true in certain areas of the world. And why? Because this country is supplying an awful lot of armaments to other countries. In addition, there are a fair amount of armament in the hands of our adversaries. And we have adversarial relations between nations. So cooperation, we could transcend this, cooperation. And there have been many voices who told us before about this. I was reading a biography of Frank Bookman, who was one of them, Buschman. Frank had founded the Oxford movement, the Oxford groups, back in the day. One conversation at a time, trust building. He focused on those people who were wealthy and powerful, more so than maybe we might otherwise. But, a lot of people felt like success in business means some sort of favoritism being dispensed upon us by the choices we've made. And they might be right, maybe wrong. I don't know. I just know how things seem to me, right? So we're going to wrap up here. I've arrived. It's good to have had 8 of you join me as I walk and talk. Nobody commented, but you're always welcome to get a dialogue going. Be the change you want to see. Remember, every cent spent is a vote for the kind of world you're co-creating with everyone else. Make things. Create. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe it must be art. We're out here.